go and have their child assessed. Some other good general suggestions for families while they're waiting it out.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you so much for that question. If the child never
Hello, a very good evening.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, good
ma'am.
evening. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening, Yoga, Mubashira, Kevin, Shefali, Agravat, Smita, Aditi, Jasmine. All right. Today also Kevin is logged in from two systems.
Yes, ma'am. My mobile screen is cracked, ma'am. So not able to see on it properly.
Okay, I hope you all slept well yesterday. Yes. Did you all have any new thoughts? Then you can share about it. Any new questions and new thoughts that came to your mind, which you would like to talk about? You can talk about that.
Just forget whatever you learned before and learn
Forgot?
new way. Whatever you learned before, now learn in a new way.
No, but did you forgot everything? Did you
No,
forget
no.
everything?
No, no.
One of the things that struck me was, teaching, and even I have been through therapy for my daughter. I'm wondering how much of it is based on research and empirical evidence, because I've seen that with speech therapy also. They do all kinds of things with no result. And even with learning with disability, I'm wondering how much of what the schools teach and tell you to do as a parent is based on, empirical evidence.
One second, I think I'll just leave and come back. Oh, I'm not. Okay, I'm fine. What? Can you repeat the last part? How much of?
So what is being taught in schools, or the system that is being followed, or when a child goes for therapy, like I have been with my daughter, how much of it has actually been based on empirical evidence? Because I find this to be a trend. I went for all kinds of speech therapy, and they put you through all kinds of mechanisms without really sort of seeing that there actually is a result. One could also say, okay, there are a lot of studies. So I find that once it comes from the West, we accept it as gospel, and then subject our children through it. Because I've gone through this whole speech therapy thing, and I have found that 80% of them are doing bunkum basically. So even with teaching, when the schools say that this is the method we follow, or this is how it should be done, and the parents are not really encouraged to sort of.
You got? Did I mute you? Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I got.
Yeah.
No worries. I got muted.
Yeah.
The parents are really not supposed to know what is the best way to teach. It's the teachers who know. And now I want to go back and ask them that how much of it what they teach and what they ask me to do is based on science, based on empirical evidence. Thanks.
I agree. So whatever we discussed yesterday, do you find logic and reasoning in that?
I do. I mean, even it doesn't matter whether I find logic in it, because I don't know the science behind it, or I have not studied it. But at least it should be studied on children, whether it works or not, or what works or not. Without that kind of a research, how are you asking children with LD to do this and that? It's so unfair to us as well.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of anger and anguish for parents like me.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
all throughout the way, I have to fight till now for past 2 years in the school system. And I've heard from other parents that until 10th standard, you will be fighting with the school system.
Because our school systems are outdated. Our school systems are absolutely outdated. Something long back 30 years ago be it taught, 20 years ago be it taught, 10 years ago be it taught is just going on. We're not ready to change. One. Number two, the biggest challenge with the teacher community is Once the teacher has done B.Ed or B.Ed special education or some qualification for teaching, she or he thinks like that's ultimate. Okay. They never think of upgrading themselves. The teacher community, neither the school is ready to spend, nor the teacher is ready to spend to upgrade. Except teaching, medicine, engineering, yoga, fashion designing, cooking, you take any other profession, they will consistently upgrade themselves. They will want to know what's going on in the market and I must improve. They'll make good money and they will bring a lot of effect in the field they work in. Teachers are the only people who don't do this. I personally have spent lakhs of rupees on upgrading myself right from the time I became a teacher. Because when I started, my father, my mentor told me, whatever you earn, remove 10% of your income aside for upgradation. So I never counted that 10% for any use for me, except for attending workshops and webinars. So all my life, I have been attending national, international, state, district workshops and webinars where I agreed and disagreed with people many times and kept on learning, and I'm still learning. During pandemic, I've spent more than, I think, 1.5 lakhs only on learning new things, new researches, new proofs. So I break my own beliefs and I start, okay, wow, this is amazing. This is something new that has come and I think we should utilize this. It's so sad that children are different. In my last 30 years of experience with children, every year the children who come will be different from the previous year's batch. Correct? So it's such a dynamic field. But the people who are working in the dynamic field are very static. They are not dynamic. The teachers have to be very, very dynamic, ready for change, ready for acceptance, ready for adaptation to new systems. Then only the whole education system will be beautiful. The government thinks they must pay for the teacher for workshop. The teacher thinks government is paying, let me go and sit for 6 hours and come and get some samosa and jalebi and come back. Arey, how will the system change? So only people who have taken the charge of making a change in their own hands are making a difference in our country. That's what is happening. But here the question is, what will the parents do? Parents are dependent on teachers, right? So parents get cramped. Anyway, we can't spend our time on correction of school system. I have tried enough. Wherever I go, I still make a lot of noise. I don't care what people think about me. I stand up and question systems, whether they follow it or not. I really don't care. I still question and ask, can you think differently and try to help the children? In the last 1.5 years of pandemic, our children have gone through a lot of chaos in their life, which none of us have gone through at that age, not at our age where we know what's happening and all. And now you complain about a preschool child, wo sunta nahi hai, wo ye nahi karta, wo nahi karta. Arey, the preschool child is supposed to go out and play for at least 10 hours. He's not even getting an opportunity to play 10 minutes. So how do you expect the behavior to be same? I hear parents saying, "Hum chote the to aise nahi the." Arey, wo pandemic nahi tha na tabhi. What these kids are going through. So that change that has happened has to be first adapted by the teacher and the parent. ये इतना बड़ा chaos से बच्चा गुजर रहा है. We have to balance and support the child. Okay. Let me first answer your questions, which was.
I'll read out the questions.
Yeah, that will be nice, Mahima. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
The first question was about how to manner.
The first question was from Komal Meena. How to help a dyslexia child focus in a better manner?
So Komal Meena is not here and I'm not answering.
Ma'am, I have asked the same question.
Okay, good. Now I'll answer for you. So I didn't understand the question basically. What does it mean, manner?
Actually, I asked, how can we help the children, those who are facing the problem of dyslexia?
Oh, do you want a one-line answer or a one-year answer? It's
That
like
can help the
how
child.
do you cure a heart?
Answer that I can like
How do
apply
you
on
cure a
child
heart
can help.
patient? How do you answer this question? How do you treat a heart patient? How do you answer this question?
Like whatever medicines
You
are being
can't answer in
prescribed.
one line, right?
Yes, sir.
There's a huge process to treat a heart patient. So dyslexia is no different. It is a specific problem a child is facing. So there is no one line answer, but I have a fantastic system which I have developed, about which I can share now. Now that this question will help you to, this question will help me to respond to that. 1 second. Okay. So I have a platform. I don't know how many of you all know about me. Let me ask that. How many of you all know my background? Jasmine knows, Mubashira knows, Kevin knows. Okay, you have attended some of my workshops, right? Okay, so let me tell you, I have been into teaching. I've been a teacher for about 6 years in one of the very prominent schools in Hyderabad. That's where I started my journey. All through my journey as a teacher, I always wondered, why do some children do not perform well in classroom? That question kept pushing me harder to know more about them. And I just used to sit with children who were weak in studies all the time to find out why they can't do and how I can help them. Sooner I got married and shifted to this city where I live now in Gujarat. Here I got the opportunity to become a principal immediately, very early at the age of 20, 29 or so. I was handling a school which we started with. I was a founder principal with about 200 kids, and I resigned after 7 years with 12,642 kids with 5 branches, ICSE, CBSE, all the possible boards that are there in India. My entire journey as a principal was amazing. I had more than 500 teachers and 500 buses and so many, the big empire that I was responsible for, and worked for children from age 3 to age 18 with all the boards, a deep study of all the boards. But throughout my journey as a principal, there was one thing that I was always bothered about is why do some children do not perform well? And those days, let me be honest, I had no idea about what's learning disabilities. All that I knew is children don't study, children don't study, children don't study. Isko padhna nahi aata, isko likhna nahi aata. All teachers would come and complain to me and I would wonder what to do. And I used to do a lot of study even then. I happened to meet a psychologist who guided me on this subject, and then on I got great interest in moving into understanding this. And that's the time I realized that I think I love working for these children. So at the peak of my career, I resigned. I resigned from the post of a principal when I was awarded best principal and blah, blah, blah. So many awards I've got. And shifted to doing my research in learning disability. I did my MPhil, specialized in that, worked with B.Ed colleges. Worked means researched with B.Ed colleges. And there I found out there is no education on learning disability in B.Ed colleges, except for a small minuscule chapter, which is also brushed through. Then I decided to start my own NGO. And in this NGO, I started, I invited children who are weak in studies across the city to study, and they all came and studied in our center, which is called Prayas Charitable Foundation. These kids were from all backgrounds, but the only criteria for admission is everybody's report card should have marks less than 20. If they have more than 30, they don't get admission in my school because this other school will give them admission. They don't need to come to us. So I took up a challenge where I wanted to help only children who were struggling. Today, these boys and girls are engineers, professors, fashion designers, architects, special educators. You name the field, they are all there today. In my city and even in abroad. Many kids have gone abroad for higher education. And that was the time I realized all kids can study. Nobody really needs to bother. They only need to know how to study, how to teach them. So the problem is not with children. The problem is with the teachers and the parents. So as parents and teachers, if I know how to deal with it, the children can actually do well. So unfortunately, parents, I don't blame because I don't blame anybody, but I feel sorry for them because they already have enough to do. They can't take all responsibility, and that is why God made teachers. So teachers are supposed to regularly upgrade themselves and educate these children, which is not happening in our school, which I know very well. So I have branches like that. Of course, 2 years ago, I closed all my branches because I wanted to reach out and help more children. So my mission was to help 1 lakh children, 1 lakh parents and teachers. With that mission, I created an online platform. I created many videos in Udemy. So I have many courses in Udemy where people from 110 countries are doing this course and upgrading themselves on how to deal with these children. Also, but what happens in Udemy is they join the course, they complete the course, and they don't know what to do up. In the sense, if they get stuck somewhere, they won't know what to do because no course can be a wholesome course, right? But to actually help people consistently, I created a platform about which I will show you now. So this is my platform, which is called Balasaraswathy's LD Remedial World. If you can see this, this is a free course. So anybody in India can book a free session with me, have a one-to-one session to understand how their child can be helped, or how a teacher can learn about the system. So what I'm doing is I'm making remedial parents and remedial teachers. Any teacher who wants to shift from mainstream teaching and becoming a remedial educator, I have an entire system for that teacher and even for a parent. So this is a free course which I invite anybody to come and join. I think somebody yesterday had clicked this and come and join. There are many videos in this. I'll just show you. My entire system is video based. So each of them is a video. Like, how do you play a guess a file game? How do you teach a child to do estimation? And I'm somebody who believes in games and innovation techniques. So I created this system.
Play Guess the File is the next video that I'm going to tell you.
Okay, so
then as a
explain how do you play the game.
You know, a bunch of something or a pile of something, your child will be able to guess. When you get a bunch of grapes, just show.
Okay, this is, you can watch it later. I just thought it's important. I could just, so there are many videos like this about reading, how to help your child to read, how to help your child to organize themselves, how to help your child for body coordination. Like many children have problems with hand movement, fine motor, gross motor, everything. Other than this, there are 4 okay. So that's my mission. I'm on a mission to help 100,000 parents and teachers to overcome learning difficulty in their child. And I've helped more than 300 kids become self-reliant today. These are my testimonies. This was a child who came to us at the age of 13. She's all overcome all her problems. Now she's become a special educator, and now she has joined my community back as a remedial teacher. And she's living in Canada, and she's a teacher in my community who's learning from the community consistently. This is another girl who was a sports expert, but absolutely terrible in academics. She also could do with in our school, she was studying in our school. Now she's a banker and a cinematographer. So here you can see reading solutions blueprint, writing, maths, body coordination, golden rules for parents. Each of them, once we click, have bundles of solutions. Okay. So bundle 1, once again, I click that, and again, there are, look at this. How do you teach making new words? Scared of reading big words, what do you do? Difficulty in picture reading, what do you do? How do you maintain school bags? Everything that I know in last 15, 20 years that children have gone through, I've converted all that into a video solution. Okay. Now, like this, each of them is a click. Oops. Yeah. You can see this golden rules for parents. How do you help your child to meditate? How do you sensitize your family to know about the child's problems? How to provide a feedback? Child needs constant praise. What do you do for that? 1 second. I think somebody's audio is on. It's too loud. Okay. So this system, now children who want, what are the rules, what are the provisions for children in different boards? So here I have explained about all the provisions of different boards. Then NIOS, open schooling system, how does it help a child? List of psychologists, where will a parent go? So I have got the list of psychologists across the country. You can see this, every state you click, you will have all the psychologists list. You go to Madhya Pradesh. Oh, now I'm in the logged system, so you'll not be able to see. Okay. So this is a system, and then there is blog where I do blogging and new concepts I keep writing. So it's a very updated method. Now, if some teacher or parent wants to take one of them only, reading solutions like this, I have for reading, writing, maths, and body coordination. So if the teacher or parent wants to take only reading, then the cost is 4,999, and this is one-time lifetime payment. So once you make this payment, you are with me forever. Whereas when you, like for example, after these 2 days phonology class, if you want to get in touch with me, you will think 100 times. Can I call her? Can I message her? Will she be available? Will she be in some session? I have a doubt. What do I do? Because I went through all this when I attended many people's workshop. I couldn't go back to the trainer. Trainers were not available. So I thought I don't want any teacher to go through this, because new problems is going to evolve every day when you work with such children. It's not like completion of syllabus. So I wanted the teachers to always feel that yes, I can come back to my coach or trainer and take help from her, because I have 20 years doing only this. So if a teacher wants one, she can purchase one and become a member of this, teacher or parent. If they want all, reading, writing, maths, and body coordination, and all, everything, there are 300 videos. Then the price is 8,999, not 4,000. It's not 5,55520. It's not 20,000. It is 8,999. So there are hundreds of teachers who have joined my community like this. So there are 3 advantages. One is they can watch the video at their own time. Number 2, there is a place where they post questions. I'll show you that. So this is, you can see this reading solutions forum. If I click this, here the teachers will post daily. I'll get questions. See, today somebody has written, morning Bala ma'am, this is writing of child who's 6th grade. He has a lot of difficulty in all the areas of reading and writing and spelling. I don't know what to do. So this question has come in the morning. I couldn't find time. Whenever I find time, I answer to these questions. So they keep on asking questions and I keep on answering them, which means there is a platform which is available to teachers and parents 24/7, where you don't have to make a call, where you don't have to trouble the person, nothing. You are just responding, right? And I keep answering. If not me, somebody else who knows an answer to that, that means there'll be more than one answer to the same question. So this is the advantage of being in a system like this. And like this, we have for maths, we have for writing, and we have for body coordination. So if any one of you wishes to be a part of my community, there are 3 benefits. 1, you can watch the videos at your own time and practice with your child. Number 2, you can ask as many questions as you want in the forum. And number 3, I conduct a free weekly webinar for teachers separately and for parents separately. So I have a teachers webinar every Friday night at 8:30 for 1.5 hours, where I add new concepts in that webinar. And for parents, I have it on every Sunday at 10 o'clock. So they are free to ask as many questions, clear their doubts, and again the new week begins with new issues, right? So that's it about the system. I hope I have answered your question. Who asked me that question? Komal? No, Shefali. So Shefali, I can't answer that one line. That's why I made this world. In this world, you will get many answers. Okay. Thank you. Mahima, what was the next question? Mahima, are you there? Oh.
The next question is, dyslexia child take too long to recognize the alphabet. Is there any technique with the help of that child can be made to recognize the letter a little fast?
Yeah, so there are many techniques, not one, which is called visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile. So children with dyslexia should be taught with touch. They understand it better than showing only alphabet. They don't get it. If you make them do it with their hands, they are faster at learning. Clay or using the alphabets, cutout of alphabets, they definitely identify it better. And many such techniques I have already put it in the system. Okay. Any other question, Mahima?
Yeah. So the next question is by Lorraine Seher Patel. We have to emphasize on listening and reading, one. Second is writing
No,
will
I
come.
think she has given a feedback of yesterday.
No.
I don't think that's a question.
1 second. So another question is by Yoga. You stressed on phonemic awareness in young children. Could you elaborate for a child with speech and language delay in a multilingual household? Should one language be stressed? What if the child shows preference for one language, listens to one but responds in another?
Yeah. So yoga in India, children cannot be restricted to one language anyways, unless you're living in a village where a Tamil family and every environment is Tamil, everything is Tamil, it will go on, or in a village in Rajasthan or a village in Assam. But if you are living in a city, how do you avoid other languages? I want to know that. The TV is on, the radio is on, you can ask the family members to stick to one language. But the minute the father switches on or the mother switches on, wants to watch a movie or watch a TV news, what do? It's going to come in multiple languages. So somehow I believe our Indian brains are trained well to pick up 4 to 5 languages in the early childhood itself, very natural. So that's not a worry for a normal brain. But children with speech and language delay will have to make more effort. But my question is, how do you stop the child from listening to another language? The child will go down to play. If you are in Bangalore, he is bound to listen to Kannada. You might be a Hindi speaking family, but he will listen to English, Kannada, and Hindi in the playground. Now, how do you stop that? So he will pick up. Secondly, speech, according to me, is an exercise. It is the exercise of this complete system where the instruction comes from the brain. Now, even if the child makes attempt to speak another language, what is happening to the exercise? It is getting practice. So when it is getting practice, I think it is good. The child may not speak at home, but the child will make effort to speak in the garden because his friends want him to speak. In the speech therapy class, sometimes the child don't respond at all. They'll have some standard technique, whatever they do in speech therapy classes. But there the child sometimes doesn't make any attempt. but he might make a lot of attempt in a comfortable zone with his friends or family. So even if there is multi-language exposure, it is a child getting exercises to do the neurological exercises and the muscle exercises by which the speech develops. I hope I've got that insight to you to understand yoga's out, understand that why it's important for children, even if they are exposed to more languages, it is absolutely okay. Mahima, any other question?
Yeah, one last question by Shefali. How to help children who have speech problem like lisping and stammering? And second, how to manage the entire class and maintain balance of teaching between fast and slow learners?
Shefali, the best answer is you join my system. Because all your questions are one like B.Ed course. Okay, big, it's very big. It's not focused to the subject. Neither of them are applicable to phonology. Our topic is phonics, right? So it's either you come and do a one-to-one session with me or you join my system and solve all your problems at one go. Okay, thank you. So let's go back to our presentation. All right. So let me come to the. So I have a good or bad habit of always revising. Okay. But I'm not going to revise by explaining because we're already running short of time. I'm only going to run these slides in front of you. It's just to make you recall all that we learned yesterday. I'm sure all of you must have thought of Hindi a lot yesterday. So just asking one more question. How many of you have been practicing only phonology to help children? Only phonics method to help them to read. Sticking only to phonics. Anyone? No. Okay.
Jasmine.
Yeah, Jasmine.
Ma'am, we did had this session separately, like conducting classes for phonics, and we did see some changes, like in like while reading. They were completely from vernacular. The parents were from vernacular medium, and they wanted to push their child for English. And the child was bright. He could pick up things very easy. Means he was bright enough. He was sharp too, and we had seen, but only the accent was different. But otherwise, he could read conveniently. Like, he did 2 years of phonics with us, level 1 and level 2.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is phonics is amazing, no doubt. But I'm asking the explicit method or implicit method. That's what my question is. What we did yesterday. Vowel to whole word or whole word to vowel. What you and me have learnt is whole word to vowel. Reverse, whole word to phonemes actually. And what presently the phonics teaches vowel to whole word. My again insistence is whatever way the child learns, use it. whether it is whole word to vowel or vowel to whole word. Okay. So, all right. So today we are going to do 15 super effective strategies to help children learn through phonics better. Okay. Let's come to the first one. It is intense, systematic, explicit instruction. Strategy number 1. Skill must be directly taught. Students should be guided and have time for independent practice. More teaching, learning importance, opportunities throughout the day, and small group instruction. More supportive, scaffold instruction through gradual release, and follow a research-based sequence. What is it trying to say? Intense, systematic, explicit instruction. What is explicit? I'll keep on revising. Implicit is whole word to phonograms, and explicit is vowel to word. So the method that can be adopted is explicit but intense. Systematically be done with direct modeling, with the help of direct modeling. Second is modeled, guided, and independent practice. That is, the teacher and the parent must explicitly teach the model what the student will be doing. Next, the teacher will help and guide the student to use the skill taught. And last is the student will practice skill independently. Now, the first one you will understand very well. The teacher will model it. The teacher will say it, do it, act it, and the child will look at you. Now, second step is the child will act and do with the teacher, the sounds. I want to understand how do you do the third one? The last, the student will practice the skill independently. So, Jasmine, how do you do?
Ma'am, once we have taught the sound with
Can you give an example? It will help many others.
Ma'am, so I guess if this is a pen, I've taught in per. So we do ask him what is this? It is they recognize the object. So what it begins with, per. And if the child is in advance, then he would split it, per and pen.
So what is independent here?
Yeah, independently, ma'am.
No, so what is independent here? See, there are 3 stages.
The child will do it on his own.
Okay, one is modeling, one is with teacher, and one is the child doing independently. Right?
Yeah.
Now, what is independent reading?
When child will break the word himself and say the word.
And if the child is wrong?
And we would just ask him to repeat it again and then show some actions. Means since I teach the jolly manner, the jolly pattern, we have those actions for each sound. So we would give the, suppose with a and e is difficult, like the child gets confused at times. So we make this, so this identifies like the sound, like the action goes with the sound like eh. So he has to use eh for it. So that's how we rectify it. Suppose if the child makes a mistake.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is, the student will practice the skill independently is a very important practice while learning anything, especially phonics or while reading. What happens is when the child is making an effort to read, we have the habit, I'm talking about children who are strugglers and not interested in the children who can read well, whether they are speech problem, whether they are LD, whether they are any issues. What normally happens is, the teacher or the parent will keep prompting. Okay. So naturally, my experience is the children stop making attempt because they start reading. Like I'll read this last line. Now the child can read last, the. Now the child is coming to this big word student. Okay. Now here the child will read stu, stu. He'll keep doing this. Generally, the teacher or the parent will immediately tell the child student. The child will repeat, move ahead, go to the next word, again get stuck. The parent or the adult will say, so this is not independent. Now, what I believe the child needs at that time is silence. Only two things: silence from parents and teachers and appreciation from parents and teachers. So what I do when a child is reading, I only keep saying very good, even if the word is wrong. Super, very good, well done, keep reading. Tell me, what is the advantage of disadvantage of this? Anybody can answer.
Child will keep trying to read new words no matter how big they are. Disadvantage will be like they might they might learn the wrong pronunciation of this if we will not check the child.
So the child doesn't even know it's a wrong pronunciation.
Yes, the child is not. He's not
Only
aware.
you know it is a wrong pronunciation.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Child is just reading and moving. Okay? So, why children don't make attempt to read?
Because of the fear that they might say it wrong.
Exactly. And who gives them that fear?
We,
Teachers.
the teachers and the parents.
Thank you very much. Give yourself an award. We adults give them that fear. The way we give them that fear is by two methods. One is our facial expression. And second is the tone at which we correct them. We correct them at every point they make an effort to read. So they feel that they don't know anything, especially LD children. They feel I can't do, they'll give up, they'll stop reading. Every time you invite them to come to read, they'll say, I don't want to read. Have you experienced this? I have experienced this a lot in the initial days when I started helping children to read, because this is a mistake I made. I will go on correcting them thinking it's my duty to correct them. At some point, I realized if I keep interrupting in what they are making an attempt, how will they ever become independent readers? They are struggling, right? It's like you are taught to make chapati for the first time. You are making some effort to roll the pin, but your mother or your somebody elder in the family, सुनकर ही कान इरिटेट हो रहा है. तो थोड़ा देर में हम क्या करेंगे, आप ही बना लो, मैं तो जा रही हूँ. So what I learned from this experience is, when the child has been demonstrated, I said first model, second ask the child to repeat, third keep quiet, watch. Watch them to make them read, allow them to read. Keep appreciating them when they read. Out of 10 words, if the child has made attempt to read 6 words, I think it is excellent. What they don't know is those 4 words which they made a mistake. Can we go back on those 4 words and teach those 4 words again? Is that better, or stopping them at every point and correcting them better? So the technique we should use with these children is allow them to read sentence and tell them, excellent, you have read 4 words correctly. Now only these few words are left. I'll help you to read that. Please never say your words are wrong. The language we use is, I will help you to read this again. Not, no, you read 4 words wrong. दोनों में बहुत फर्क है, वो यहाँ हिट होता है. अच्छा, मैं तो wrong ही हूँ, मेरे से कुछ नहीं होगा. This is the first reaction these kids have. Let me go to the second strategy, word boxes. Third strategy, picture with connected boxes, the length of the word being taught, use letter tiles to place inside the box. So we make these letters and we make these tiles. This can be done at home, this can be done on the online also, this can be done on the board also. And we ask the children to place these tiles, asking them to frame words. It might sound simple, but it's a very complicated process for children. But if we have patience and allow them to do this, they do it very well. Onset and rhyme. Onset is the first sound in a word. Like bake, b is onset. and rhyme is the last three sounds, ek. So they get confused in the formation of word with onset and rhyme. So onsets and rhymes make it easier for children to sound out words. So if you have them in different colors, it helps them to read better. Like B in one color and ek in one color. We know about the word families. You should always have the word family and this consonant in one color, separate colors. How many of you know to play tambola or bingo or housey? All of you know to play housey with numbers, right? Have you played housey with words? No. So you can very easily play. Yeah, Shefali? If you are playing, tell us.
Yes, ma'am, I have played.
How do you play?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you play?
Like I just ask them to write, I'll just ask them to write down their name, and then I will say a random letter and they have to strike off that letter in their name if that exists.
Okay, fine. So what I used to play is make a proper housey card, no shortcut. When we say to children we are playing housey, they should have the feeling of housey in every way. So we make a proper housey card. So there are in housey numbers, there are 15 numbers in each card, right? In each slip. So you should have 15 words. Some words should be repeated more than once. Got it? Suppose we are doing at words. So we write these cat, rat, mat, sat, pat, lat, tat, and maybe cat twice, sat thrice, something like that. Now we make small chits or cards of this and put it in a bowl. Now each time I pick up a chit, I read out the word. If the child has that word, he'll strike it. Instead of making them write spelling and read spelling. Eyes are reading that word. So brain is activated. Words are struck correctly. Somebody will win. You can have all rules, first line, second line, all the same rules you can keep. All that you have to do is make these cards. It's very easy. Nowadays, the computer mein kuch bhi ban jata hai. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Anything can be possible. This can be family games also. And you can keep in changing the words as per the better reading ability of the child. Spell game. If you can spell game, that is pick one rhyme you would like to use, or example in word family, write the word pin on the board. Each student will have his or her whiteboard and dry eraser. This is for classroom. The teacher will say, if you can spell pin, you can spell win. The students will write the word win down and next the teacher will write. Okay. So I have a question for the teachers who are teaching phonics again. Maybe Jasmine, whoever else is teaching phonics. When you teach word families like IN, EN, PN, AN, so do you have a standard list of words that is only taught? In the AN family or IT family or... So suppose it is AT family, can you just read out the, can you just say those words?
Cat, hat, fat, rat, sat, pat, so on.
Okay. So my question now is, I'll break your beliefs again and again, is it important to have only words with meanings when you're teaching them to read? Shefali will laugh again. Mera problem ही यही है, Shefali.
Ma'am, could you please repeat?
Okay, I'll just show you. Unfortunately, I should have made a slide on that, but it just struck me as I was. Okay. So can you see this? This is 80 AT. Now what the phonic teacher, school teacher, English teacher will do, will have a standard list of words, which the teacher will give and the child has to read once the child knows 80 AT. Now my question is, why are we limiting that to only those 5 or 8 words? You don't know. So what I do, there are -5 vowels. We have 21 consonants. Can we put 21 consonants in front of at? So don't you think the child can read 21 words? What if the meaning doesn't exist? How does it matter? Anyway, the child is not asking you the meaning of words when he's doing reading. Do you understand the logic? Bat, cat, dat, fat, hat, lad, fat. Go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J till W. What is the practice happening in the brain? The practice of joining this onset and rhyme. Isn't opportunity to read more given to the child? Now, every time you make a new one, do you think you will have to tell this to the child again? So many parents used to say, "Ma'am, बच्चे आपके पास आके इतना जल्दी रीडिंग कैसे सीखते हैं?" क्योंकि मैं कुछ नहीं करती हूँ, सारा काम उन लोगों से कराती हूँ. I will only write am and give to the child. Now I will tell A to Z इसके सामने लगा और पढ़ो खुद ही. I don't even make words. I'll only teach this. Now imagine how many families are there. Yoga, smile. You can teach everything to your child. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Not question, I want to share something.
Very good. Please.
When I did that, my principal told there is no meaning of that word. Why you are teaching that?
Did you ask this question to your principal? I did this mistake when I was a teacher. Then I went and understood. When I became a principal, I got into the preschool and I got deeper into this. And I asked my teachers, how many children in your class have asked you the meaning of these words? They never ask because their brain is not developed enough to ask meaning. And if they ask meaning, you just have to say it is nonsense word. Doesn't need, everything doesn't need meaning. You are learning to read words. You are not learning meaning here. See, when we, especially learning disabled children, children who are CwSN or children with special needs, when you are teaching reading, their brain can focus only in reading. Their brain cannot switch to comprehension parallelly. So we should not get into meaning and comprehension at that time. You got it, Moveshira? So yeah. I broke the rules of 175 schools as a principal. I went and fought with my management. So I said, I don't agree with your system that you should only give 10 words. They said, parents will object. I said, I'll handle the parents. I was never scared of parents because parents object because they don't understand. When you make them understand logically, they are with you all the time. I had all the parents with me all the time because they agreed, yes, I think what you're saying is making sense. Yes, Yoga has come up with some sheet to show me. Yes, Yoga. Yeah, brilliant. What you're doing is you're teaching Yoga, you're teaching meaning and word together. Mike, please.
Is this more difficult for her? Because now, you see, for her, SAT is the most complicated one because she can't figure out what is happening here. Why are we putting an AT and why did she ask to put S over there? So I'm wondering whether for her, is this the easier or more difficult way?
Difficult. This is easy. Go and try this today. She will start reading all the words. You may not do it like this. I did it in a faster and simpler way. I'll show you. So don't do too many words at a time. That's another problem with the teachers have. They'll give a long list. I only give one word at a time. So now you have only at. Now what I'll do, I'll put a B here. Okay. Now generally we use chalk and chalk and notebook, chalk and board, or we use marker and board. So now you rub this, put another alphabet, rub this, put another one, rub this, put another one. So the child doesn't feel pressurized psychologically that I have so many words to do. That's another bad action we take up when we give them long lists. So the child feels, "Arey, ek hi to padna hai mere ko." So the attempt and confidence both is very high. Now you do this with IT, ET, AM, AT, OT. I mean, just go on making these. She can read 1,000 words just in 1 week. It doesn't happen in phonics class. Ask Jasmine. Agreed?
Bala ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, Kritika.
Ma'am, many kids face while blending, they have the difficulty. Like individual sounds, they are good enough, but when it comes to blending, they find it difficult.
I didn't come to blending. I'm coming to blending.
Okay.
So this is the word family. AN. Now go on putting BAN, CAN, PAN, TAN, LAN, MAN. Go on putting. You have hundreds of words. Okay. Now this is the list of word, common word family. There are many. Now imagine if you put 21 consonants in front of ACK. You have made 21 words. Yes or no? Now again put 21 consonants in front of AIL. BAIL, CAIL, DAIL. The child is only getting trained to pronounce. That's all. And when we are doing reading, we don't have to put pictures beside it. Reading and comprehensions are different parts of the brain. We should not trouble the child with both together. Once the child has become fluent in reading, it's fine to introduce pictures and images to identify the meaning. This is my research and I've been very successful practicing this. Okay. Children with learning disability need repetition to retain knowledge. So when we say repetition, it is not doing the same worksheet. It could be playing a game, it could be playing bingo, it could be writing on the board, it could be writing on the floor, it could be identifying from a worksheet, it could be doing on a newspaper. I use newspaper a lot in my classrooms. I've trained children with newspaper. Now how? We will teach them a few words and give them a newspaper sheet to search those words in the newspaper. I don't need to keep on making worksheets. I never waste time on new things. There are plenty resources available around me. I'll use that. The child will go on searching. So how does the brain work? Okay. Let me take somebody's name here. किसको पकड़ूं? सुषमा जी, आप साइलेंट हैं, आपको पकड़ते. सुषमा जी, आप कौन से फ्लोर पे रहते हो?
ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे मैम.
अरे खराब हो गया. ओके. आप है ना? You are on the 10th floor having a party. Okay. I'm giving you a situation. Now, पार्टी में आपके हस्बैंड आए नहीं, आप उनका वेट कर रहे हो. तो आप बीच बीच में जाके 10th फ्लोर से नीचे देखते हो and you are waiting for your husband to come in the bike, right? So there are about 20 people driving together and coming from the office. 20 men have come into the building. Would you be able to identify? Would you be able to identify your husband from the top?
No.
Why? Kevin is smiling. Why? अच्छा चलो 10th नहीं, मैं नीचे आती हूँ, 7th फ्लोर पे आती हूँ. चलो 7th फ्लोर के बालकनी से.
पहले तो मुझे एक्सपीरियंस नहीं कि ऊपर से मुझे कितना साफ दिखाई देगा नीचे.
अच्छा आईसाइट का प्रॉब्लम है. Okay, let me throw this. Let me ask Kevin. I shift the question to Kevin. Kevin, your daughter is playing with 15 children in the garden and you're watching from the 5th floor down.
Yeah, ma'am, I'll be able to identify.
Why?
There's a visual perception. Yeah, this is how she looks.
20 लोगों में से आप अपने बच्चे को या अपने पति को या अपने वाइफ को या अपने किसी को भी आराम से ढूंढ सकते हो. क्यों करता है ये? Because your eyes knows what you are searching. Your brain gives instruction to your eyes and you will know, मेरी बेटी आज pink frock में गई है, you will scan कर लोगे, where is my child? That's exactly what I apply in reading. When I give words to children to search in newspaper, the brain that time is scanning for that word. And we are scanning for that word becomes stronger in your head. It becomes more concrete. Instead of making them read. And they love doing this searching activity. And newspaper is one of the best techniques. Newspapers, storybooks, anything. Okay, blast game. This is an amazing game where you make cards like this, whatever the level of the child is. Sight words, big words, small words. Take a basket or take a bowl, put all these words, okay? You can play with your family, you can play in a group of children in the classroom. Now you have to ask the child to pick up a word and read, pick up a card and read. इसके अंदर ब्लास्ट नाम का एक कार्ड भी डाला हुआ है, जैसे ताश के पत्ते में जोकर होता है, बिल्कुल वैसा. You have put a word. So each time you pick up a card and read, the card belongs to you. तो आपका एम क्या है, आपको मैक्सिमम कार्ड्स इकट्ठा करना है. लेकिन if the blast word comes in your hand, then you have to put back all the cards. So what's happening? Unconsciously the child is reading the words. पर उसको ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो गेम खेल रहा है. Taking it out from the potli or from the bowl. Kinesthetic method of sounding out words. When children are sounding out words, they can tap on their finger and start to tap on their arm. I'm sure the phonic teachers use this. Do you use this tapping method? So we, especially with LD children or special needs, the speech delay or hearing impairment, we do it with hand like this. H-A-T, H-A-T. We keep doing this. So this way they learn better. Body tapping, even hand tapping. H-A-T, P-A-T, C-A-T. जो normal reading में जिनको तकलीफ होता है, वो hand action से they learn better. Phonic word walls. Many parents love their homes to be very neat and clean, but they want the children to read, and children are not going to school. They don't have walls in school to read nowadays. So I have asked the parents to stick words on fridge, on cupboard, on the wall, on dining table and drawing rooms, everywhere. How will children learn to read if they do not see it everywhere? One parent wanted the house spick and span, but she also wanted her child to read. School में boards होते हैं चारों तरफ. Teachers keep putting these flashcards on the board for children to read. 1.5 साल से they haven't seen a flashcard. उनकी क्या गलती है? So I request that parents to do it. अपने घर पे लगाओ, निकालो, लगाओ, निकालो. Whatever words they are teaching, just display it in their cupboards, in their kitchen, wherever the child is roaming around. That's called unconscious reading. Without their knowledge, they will keep reading. And it happens very naturally to them. These are some of the computer games through which children can independently learn phonics or words or reading or pronunciation. Word sort concentration. So we have learned about VC, CVC, CVVC, and CVVC with E and EA words. So what you can also do is make lots of flashcards and ask to place it one below the other. मतलब CVC को एक साथ डालो. This is just to test the child whether they have understood the concept of consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, vowel, consonant, etc. So what I'm trying to tell you is just doing worksheets is not the only method to help children to read. Word shapes. HAT hat, RU and run, and TOP top. If you look at it carefully, each of them have a different sizing. So we make shapes like this and ask the child to fill it with words of whatever they want. But it should be those like H. H will come here, A will come in the center, and T will come here. But the next word, RU and run, is the same size. We also teach them to cut and make. Make a lots of words, give it to them, give them scissors. Let them sit and cut, paste, cut, read, cut and gather words. So I'm not a typical teacher who uses one method to teach at all. And the 15th one is auditory visual closure. So auditory visual closure is so teacher has the letters far apart and gradually moves them closer together and says the sound faster. So it will be like this. The word is back. Okay. So she'll move it, she or he will move it apart, bring it close. So yahan pe, and you keep doing this with many words with these sticker cards. The child sees these words first independently, ba and act, and put it together, back. Now coming to the question which blending. This is my last slide, but I'll come to that question of blending. Okay. So Kritika, even blending,
Yes.
I would do the same way as we do for the other word family I said. Like if you are teaching blur, okay, we stick to blur and put as many an, am, at, al, goes on without any meaning. I've always work on sense and nonsense works with them. So with one blur, if you put in front of the word family, imagine how many words a child can read. Okay, let me ask Jasmine, how do you teach blends?
Ma'am, even the last slide which you shared, that will also work.
Thank you for finding solutions yourself. That's
Thank
the
you.
whole aim of my workshop is I'll excite you and leave. Rest you should be able to develop. Okay, so there we close with the 15 strategies. Now we can discuss, question, any other query, anything else you can still ask me if you have something specific.
Jasmine here. I had a query.
Lorraine, please come on the camera. Whoever is asking, kindly come on the camera.
Ma'am, Jasmine here.
You have some net issue? Yeah, Jasmine.
Ma'am, as yesterday I had spoken to you that A has 2 sounds, but then you said they have many. There are nearly 7. Ma'am, when we were practicing the long and the short A, so A, I, A, Y, they all say A. We don't say But when we teach them spellings like AI, where we are supposed to use AI, where we are supposed to use AY, and then the magic E1, A-E, and then AO. Ma'am, there are many kids, they get confused, even means like, where to use what. So ma'am, how do we explain that? And similarly with the other vowel and their words as well, ma'am.
Yeah.
Long and short, ma'am.
Even for a normal child with a normal child who doesn't have any disability, they are also confused with MAID, MADE, THERE, THEIR. So I always feel that these words, if taught independently, don't make any sense to children. It is so difficult to explain THERE and THEIR. But if it is taught in context, in sentences, in stories, in passages, it makes more sense to them. So when we do a story and show them, look, which there is here, THERE, and why is this there here? Why is THERE used here? The child gives you the meaning because now he has a contextual meaning. There are 5 books on the table. Instead of just saying THERE का मतलब ये है और THEIR का मतलब ये है, वो भूल जाते हैं. Because it is not as exciting to remember. It's quite difficult for children. So I always believe in teaching it in context. जब आप context में reading कराते हो, then they are able to relate it why HERE and HEAR is different. Whereas in our schools, they are just made a list of words, ask them to by heart, and tests taken, marks given, 2.
Chapter loose, yeah.
Yes, Kevin.
Ma'am, mine is a little out of context, ma'am. I just want a small clarity. I know this strategy is better for elderly children, but will this strategy work for a new language learner as well, ma'am?
Actually, your voice is echoing and I could not get you clearly.
Can I use this strategy for a new language learner as well, ma'am?
Oh, yes.
Like for an adult, not for a kid.
Of course.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You can very easily. Just remember LSRW. Don't forget that.
Okay, ma'am. Sure.
You must get exposure to listening. Listening.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
I have learned French. Okay. So why I learned French? I'll tell you why I'm talking about this. I was selected for, I was in NCC and I got selected to go to international exchange program to Canada. Now we were sent to a province which is French speaking. In Canada, there is one province where they speak French, which is called Quebec. Now my selection was for that province. We were about 40 of us and some of them got selected for the English province. Now they said, you will have to learn French. Now I was in college and I was already doing Russian 3rd level. I had taken Russian as my second language. I'm very fond of languages. So now learning French was new. So we started with French. So I had a friend who taught me this reading, writing. She went on doing this. She taught me some level. Somehow I cleared some basic exams and they said, okay, you can go to Canada. I must have spent 1.5 months with this friend of mine who taught me French and I learned little. But the minute I landed in that place where even to drink water and go to washroom, if you don't ask in French, they don't give you. So what will happen to your brain now? You are bound to pick it up because it's listening everywhere. All the boards where we went, we stayed in a town where everything is French and they hate English people. So they won't speak English. It's still there. Quebec is always fighting with this issue. So in their parliament, I mean, in their state assembly, they have both translations happening. English also, French also till today, and it will always happen. And who are these French? They are French people who migrated from France and went and lived in Quebec. I don't know how many years ago, as Canada is not a very old country. And they are dominant about usage of French. So you want to buy a bread, whatever, you have to adapt to that language. What I realized is I picked up French very fast because I had no choice but to listen and speak. So Kevin's answer, I'm connecting it that any language needs lots of listening first, not just reading. The more you listen, the more vocabulary, the more sounds, the more reading will be better. So I want to also tell teachers who are teaching small children or parents with small children, do you read out stories to your children? How many yoga?
Every night.
Every night. Fantastic. So when you read, when you read, is it only you reading?
Yes. You mean whether the child reads or where somebody else in the family reads to the child?
Child, you and the child, between you and the child.
Yes, only I read.
So can you shift to the child reading?
Yeah, now I've been thinking about it, like what you pointed out, this search game. I did that a bit. When can comes, I just stop, and then my daughter will look at the word and say can, or one of those small words.
Yeah.
But mostly, yes, it is not paired reading what you mentioned yesterday.
Yeah.
It's mostly me reading.
So paired reading is a magic reading. And every parent teacher should do this with a child. They develop amazing confidence in paired reading. I was doing today morning with a 10th grade boy. I was doing an assessment of a 10th grade boy. The parent had come for learning disability. The parent bluntly said, "Ma'am, isko kuch nahi aata." That's how she started. It was an online session. So isko kuch nahi aata. He doesn't know to read anything. I said, okay, let me try. So first of all, the image created by the parent for the child is so damaging. First step. And that too, this image is created in front of an unknown person on screen. मतलब उसके self-esteem का धज्जिया उड़ गया 1 second में. Now, even if I do some assessment, he will not respond to me. So then I had to bring comfort and say, no, I know about him. I spoke to his teacher. He's an excellent reader. I know he can read. Come on, beta, let's start reading. So I gave him a story on screen to read. He started hesitating to read. Then I gave him some words. I said, ye to tumko aata hai, ye bhi aata hai, ye bhi aata hai. And then I could see that he slowly switched over to reading, and we both started reading together. He read some words, I read some word, he read some word, I read. And finally we could read the whole chapter, and his mother was surprised. So most of the time, kids don't even make an attempt with the idea that ye to mere se hoga hi. And that's a big thing we do for our children, damage their self-esteem. So when in an online class also, or in an offline class also, when the child is making an attempt to read and is struggling, what do his peer do? Hey, baith ja, tere se kuch nahi hoga, chal baith ja. This is her reaction, any child. The teacher will say, ruko, usko padhne do, give him a try. Again, 2-3 times he'll try. Other will say, sit down, ma'am, I will read. Don't allow him to read. Finished? If this happens 5 times in a week, the boy will declare or the girl will declare, I can never read. Let me not read. Bando. Better hai ki main chup raha hu. And reading is a conscious effort. If you don't make effort, you will never be able to read. It's not like listening. Listening is natural to us. Speaking is natural to us, but reading is not. All right. Any other questions? Why does it happen? My sessions won't have questions in the end. It'll be full of questions in the beginning, but by the end, sab ud jata hai.
No, I
Yes,
think
Yoga.
today there is too much to digest.
Ma'am,
Okay,
what
so
about,
would any one of you want to join my system? Let me ask you
Ma'am.
that. Yeah, Kritika
Yeah,
is
just
already
one.
a part of my community.
Yes,
Kritika, you want
I
to
am.
share about our community? Though
It
she's
is
not very
a
active
wonderful,
now. But yeah.
yeah, it is a wonderful community. I mean, never ending. I mean, you will always get something or the other thing to learn from the community. It is just awesome. Like, ma'am is always there for us. So I have attended just one session. I learned a lot from the single session, and she is giving every week. So it is amazing world. If you will join it, you will feel it, and then you could share yourself.
So a lot of teachers have also started getting students because post joining this, their efficiency is increased, their results have increased. What they could do in 6 months, now they're able to achieve in 3 months. So when you achieve it in a shorter time, the parent is more confident with you and more trust. So automatically you will get more children. Yes, Yoga.
So the previous time I'd listened to one of your lectures, I did go and register for the course and the one that you showed at the start of the session. And as you've said, there are 300 videos on it. The issue is that, as a parent or somebody who doesn't know this, there are just too many videos. And for me to sort out what is applicable to my child and, where should I start from? Should I just skip some videos? That is a bit of an issue, which is why I sort of didn't pursue that. I saw some of the videos, but then I wasn't able to go through the whole lot because then it was a little overwhelming for me. So if you could guide, how to go about that resource, that would be a better sort of help for me.
Okay. So see, it's not like a course. It's not like a typical course that what is learning disability, what are the types of, this. It's not like that. It's a direct solution. Now, if you click any video, you're going to get a new solution. So it's like each of the videos have a title. Yoga, yeah, something is wrong. Lights off.
No, but I can listen to you.
Okay,
The electricity has gone off, but I'm online.
Okay, fine. So I'll just go back and show you that. Yeah. So if you look at this segment carefully, each of them are very simply divided. Reading solutions, writing, maths, body coordination, golden rules. Now, what are you looking for? If you are looking for reading, you just need to go to the reading solutions. Okay. Now, each of them have further been divided into various bundles and each have a title. Difficulty in reading whole word. What do? You just need to click this. It's not untitled. See, difficulty in reading words, difficulty in remembering meaning, difficulty in making new words, confusion in starting and ending of the word, scared of reading big words, difficulty in picture reading. So each is a problem and each is a solution. Okay.
No, but the question is that at what level is this? Like, for example, if my daughter is, still senior KG, then how should I as a parent know that this is her issue and not her general age level? You see, because that's also, I mean, how would I know that this is her special difficulty, or is it that is not expected of the child of this age? So if there is a classification for, like, for example, this video about difficulty in reading big words, right? I would think that it doesn't apply to my daughter because she's still reading CAT cat. And I would skip that video. And in fact, so many of these videos don't apply to the age group that I'm looking at.
It may not apply today.
Yes.
It will apply to you after 1 month.
That's
so
true.
I can't make videos day wise, right? So I have some other parent joining me who's at comprehension level. So they will have.
But some sort of what I meant was some sort of a guidance for parents like me as to where do I stand or not. Maybe I don't know.
So without assessing your child, I cannot comment on that, because whatever you are telling is based on your observation as a parent, right? So once I assess, I can tell you, okay, follow this route map. So there are parents whom I have given a route. Follow this system, follow this method, go ahead.
Yes, I get your point. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So if there's nothing else, then we can close. If there's any more questions, I'm waiting for it. Otherwise, thank you very much. If anybody, you're welcome to join my community, learn from there, be a consistent support to help many children across the nation. As I said, I have teachers from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and Rajasthan to Assam, helping children across the country and doing everything online at their own time, at their free time, making not only helping people, but also making a good income for their own life. All right, so if it's all done, then thank you. If there's anything else, nothing. Fantastic. Any feedback or any suggestions for what is the next workshop you're looking for? I'm coming up with another workshop next week.
Yeah, the Hindi one you said is coming
Yeah,
up.
of course,
right?
Hindi is
That's-
coming.
I will be seeing you then again.
Okay. So Hindi is coming. There's a reading comprehension coming. There's a certificate course in learning disability coming. So this whole month I have many workshops and we'll be sharing about it to you all. All right. Thank you then. Have a great week ahead. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night. Bye.